Okay, good afternoon to the viewers of Venture Watch. It's a pleasure to have today um, a conversation with Mr. Riccardo Campanile, who is the founder and president of Social Green Mobility, a company founded and registered in Italy. And he is going to be talking today a bit about himself, about the company, the industry that Social Green Mobility is involved with, and then we'll close off with a little bit of a discussion about industry structure in northern Italy. So it should prove to be very interesting. So welcome, Riccardo. Nice to have you.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you, John. This is Riccardo Campanile.
So
I'm Italian, and I grew in Italy, where I studied classic studium and then engineering, and then I start my job career in Italy. And 13 years ago, I just moved to China for a new adventure in China. I've been working for some multinational French and German multinational companies, and recently in China I founded a company on behalf of the Italian headquarters and ran it up to last year. What else about myself? I am quite experienced about industrial goods. Actually, most of my job career has been developed in that business. So this is my let's say personal overview. Now I'm back in Italy due to personal family reason and due to the fact that traveling between Italy and China is not easy as it was. So until the situation is the current one, I will stay in Italy, where I care about social green mobility.
Okay, now just tell us what city do you live in, and is that the same city that the Social Green Mobility is registered in?
Actually, no. I'm living in Savona on the seaside in Liguria, close to France. But the social green mobility has been registered in Milan, since Milan is more business oriented than Savona. In Savona, we will develop some operation of social green mobility, but the company has been founded and registered in Milan.
Okay, so where you're living is, I'm guessing, about a 2-hour drive, sort of southeast from Milan. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Even less. If you respect the speed limitation, yes, let's say 2 hours.
We always respect the speed limitation, don't we?
Of course.
Perfect. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this company, Social Green Mobility.
Yes.
Tell us what it is, how it came about, and what your role is as founder and president.
Social green mobility is a project. Let's say it's a startup, and actually we start to think about this kind of services company some years ago, looking at the development of the electric mobility, particularly in China, where I was living at that time, with some other colleagues, some other partners and friends. We decided to launch this kind of companies. It's in the very beginning we were just thinking about selling bicycle. Then we saw that it was not an interesting business, it was not innovative, it's not sustainable. So we decided to change completely our goal and our business scope. Social Green Mobility is a company which aims to provide services, not products. So the company provides bicycle to touristic structure, touristic organization like hotel, resort, camping, marinas, and we provide those bicycles in consignment stock, let's say, without charging anything to the touristic organization. The hotel, for instance, the camping, whatever it is can provide this service to its guests or even to tourists who through an app we have developed by ourselves. They can rent the bike, they can open the locker and take the bike. It's not just a let's say, mobility, but it's because Italy, and that's why we start this business in Italy, is a typical touristic destination. Many tourists, not only Italian ones, but also from other countries of Europe, and not only, they come to Italy to enjoy the landscape and whatever it is beautiful in Italy to see. So our goal is to provide something to visit, to enjoy our country. It means that the guest of the hotel can rent the bike, and very easily, actually, with an app. He will pay through the app, and will take the bike, and the bike will be brought later back to the same hotel. So it's not a sharing bike. We totally do not follow that kind of business model. The bicycle will be rented and will be returned in the same place. The app will provide all the let's say, the information that might be useful to the driver, to the rider, about interesting museum, like a restaurant or whatever it is worth to visit. So it's an experience. It's a kind of so our aim is also to create a kind of community where the people using our bikes will enrich this information and putting them and setting them available to any other user. So the customer, the final customer, is the tourist finally, and we provide this kind of services through let's say a kind of chain, a kind of supply chain, where there is social green mobility, who is going to import components, then in Italy, where the bicycle will be assembled by service center, which will be also in charge to install the bicycle and the charging station in the chosen host organization, and then provide the maintenance. The hotel, whatever it is, say we call it host. The host will put those bicycles available to their guests, also to the tourists, as I said before, and then we share the revenues. So social green mobility, the host, and the service center will share the revenues paid by the customer.
Okay.
So
Now,
as you can see, please.
yeah, just going to clarify one thing. So I've seen the pictures. It looks like a bicycle, but it's electrically powered as opposed to being a pedal
Definitely,
bicycle.
yes.
But
This is a very
it's not like the e-scooters that populate China, which are sort of like a small old little Vespa that are electrically charged. So you've gone with the bicycle frame, but it's electrically powered.
yes. That's the reason we chose the electrical bicycle, because Italy is not a flat land like could be Shanghai rather than Suzhou, where I've been living for many years. Actually, in those areas, electricity, the electric mobility is just to cover many kilometers. Actually, in Italy, we have downhill, uphill, so it's a quite demanding territory for a biker, for a normal rider, let's say so. So we chose definitely the electric bike because it can provide a long range. So you rent the electric bicycle, you can go almost everywhere, and then you can cover even many kilometers without any effort. We design that bicycle in order to let it be suitable for any kind of person, from let's say a young guy up to an older one. There is no gender structure. I mean, the bicycle is really designed to be user friendly to anyone, and that's why we choose the electric bicycle. Actually, you can use a normal bicycle just in cities like Milan, or let's say in Pianura Padana, where the land is definitely flat. But actually, for instance, in my region, and actually wherever you go, Italy is quite challenging for normal people. Let's say, not because our goal is not to provide bicycles to let's say specialists or sports, just a tourist. The target is to provide a sustainable mobility way to let the tourists visit the area where they are.
But it's not just the physical bicycle. You're also providing sort of logistics through an API um,
Yes,
to find so people can find locations and other things,
yes,
sort of like I don't know, like a search engine or a GPS or things.
yeah, yeah.
What is that supplementary electronics that are being offered?
Yeah, actually, IoT, is Internet of Things, is included in our service because the bicycle contains one GPS tracker, which not only can provide information about let's say, our assets, because definitely the bicycle belongs to social green mobility, but being traceable, it means that any customer can enrich the tour, can enrich the platform through their own experiences. It means that the further customer will enjoy the same route enjoyed by the former one. So it's a kind of enriching experiencing platform. Not only so restaurants and small restaurants, but also museum and any kind of place which deserve a visit. So it's not only providing bicycle, but also providing touristic information, any kind of touristic information.
Okay, very interesting. So tell us about the people, yourself, and the other key persons who are running this business. It looks like there's four principals on your website.
Yeah, actually, we founded this company as a four-person. Uh, Three of us were living in China, now just two. I don't know whether I can mention their name.
It's
If
up to you.
I can, it's no, no. No, okay, it doesn't matter, I guess. Anyway, they both of us are quite experienced manager, or there is also a professor of university in the team, and the only one partner who was in Italy is a person quite experienced about startup, because we need the support of someone already experienced in managing a startup. Uh, let's say that since we have different skills, we divided let's say the role according our experiences. Uh, we have a specialist about the technicalities, because he has been working for many years in the two wheels business. As mentioned, we have the person in Italy who is able to manage relationship with the government, with the institution, with the crowdfunding association and the companies, and then me as let's say business development, and the professor as expert as architect about the web platform. This is a very important role because actually most of the service is based on the web.
Okay. So
The bicycle is some. I mean, it's important because it's based on the bicycle, but bicycle is just a bicycle.
okay, so let's look at
What is
the two.
behind the bicycle is much more important.
Okay, let's look at those two components separately, the bicycle and the technology that's behind the bicycle. You said that the
Mhm.
components, I believe, were either some or all manufactured in China, but the components were shipped to Italy and assembled in Italy. So does all the
Yeah.
components come from China? Who are your major suppliers in China, and where are your assembly plants located in Italy?
Well, yeah. Currently, even though we would like to buy something in Italy, we are buying everything in China, where we design by ourselves the frame of the bicycle itself in order to fulfill our requirements in terms of safety, in terms of not only safety of the people, but also about the security, about the battery, which is the most expensive stuff on board. And then we bought everything. Then we have an agreement. We sign an agreement with one supplier who is the one who made the frame on our commitment, according our commitment, and he provide also all the other parts. This partner is not only a supplier, but is also a partner, because when we had the first increase of capital, he believed in the project and he became a partner, not only a supplier. So we have a very, very good and strong relationship with this Chinese partner.
Okay.
All the other parts, unless the frame, are, let's say, commercial parts.
Okay.
Wheel, gears, brakes, handlebar, saddle, whatever you can buy on the market. The role of this Chinese partner is to collect what we need, what we want, and then to move these components to Italy, where we will assemble not in our own facility, but through the service center. Service center is a part of the network, which, let's say, it's a part of the, let's say, of the blockchain. We import the goods in Italy, then we distribute the parts to the service center. By now we have just 2 service centers enabled to do that job, even because we are still in a testing phase. These 2 service partners will assemble the bicycle according to the procedure we gave to them, and then we will send the bicycle sets to the host. So the service partner is a key component of the blockchain, of the supply chain, of value chain, whatever it is, of the service we are going to provide. So we have our own facility where we install and assemble the bicycle. We try to be close as much as possible close to the customers, and the customers are the tourists, in order to provide not only the bicycle but also the maintenance service, which is a must.
Okay. And then the second part, the technology, the API, was that developed in-house or out-house, and how is that being generated?
Yeah, actually, we had an agreement with the company. It's a software-based company based in Shanghai, Paris, and London, where actually the partner are freelancer. The name is Coder Banker, and you can hire them according to your needs. Actually, we developed the platform database by ourselves. So once everything was clear, we move this database to this company, Coder Banker, and then you can rent the software developed according to your needs. So if you need 20 hours of special I don't know, web designer, you will rent 20 hours. This is a very, we chose this company because it's very reliable. It's not cheap, but at least you can manage them, and you can pay according to your needs. So, and then also the presence in Europe, in UK, and in China can grant a good reliability of the service itself.
Okay, interesting.
So mainly we have 2 big partners. One is for the let's say the hardware, so the bicycle, the components of bicycle, and the other one based in Shanghai. Even because the architect of the platform is in China, our partner, and so 2 main suppliers, Coder Banker and the company providing the components.
Okay, interesting. Now you mentioned that your supplier provided some initial financing. Were there other external sources of financing beyond the 4 principals in the company?
Yeah, actually, when we founded the company, personally speaking, I was quite, let's say, I was not that confident about the success of this company. But actually, when we launched the first increase of capital, we raised 120,000 euro just in less than 1 month, through just word of mouth, through friends or other friends of friends, and finally also the supplier. So we already increased the capital because we would like to to get also the support for the Italian institutions. In Italy, there is an institution called Invitalia, which aims to support the innovative startups. Moreover, once we will finish this application with Invitalia, and just today we had the first interview with the specialist who are in charge to approve or not approve our project. Later on, we are going to launch a crowdfunding campaign.
Okay.
And we are preparing all the documents, all the movies, and whatever it is better to have to launch a crowdfunding.
For my information, what date was the company established?
The company has been established last year in, I don't remember exactly the date, last year in September.
September 2020. Okay.
20, yes.
So you're still developing customers. When do you think you'll start commercialization aspect and start generate revenue?
Okay. Actually, we are just clearing the custom of the first container. We imported components to assemble 60 bicycles, and these 60 bicycles are just a few ones, but we need them to test everything: the APP, the GPS, and also, all the supply chain, the value chain through the service center and the host. We already have the host available to provide to host our bicycle and provide service to their customers. We will do it in different cities where we are close to our service center. We have a service center in my hometown, Savona, and another one in center of Italy and Adriatic Sea side. That's why we will start just as a test phase to check whether everything is running, because everything is new, the APP and the GPS, the data and this and that. So we prefer to test everything, and then we will start with the massive production of bicycle by one side and providing the right services to the other side. We do hope to be ready for let's say a real launch of the services at the end of this summer. No before, because unfortunately the timing to collect bicycle components and then the shipment requires quite a long time. Now the market is booming, so everyone wants bicycle, and the delivery time of the components is increasing. By one side. By the other side, not only the transportation cost is increasing, but also it's not that easy to find container from China to Italy. So we have to be realistic and pragmatic. We do not count to have everything ready before August, September 2021.
Okay, now I guess, except for the very south of Italy, say Sicily, the winters in central or northern Italy probably don't allow you to ride these bikes. So this is a seasonal business based upon really sort of the tourist season. Is that correct?
Is that correct? But not 100%, because actually in our plan is also to provide bicycles to hotels, for instance, in Milan or in other cities, let's say other touristic city like Florence, like Verona, where the season, the touristic season, is not so fixed. Of course, if you think about south of Italy, Sicily, Sardinia, and Puglia, and whatever, you can provide, let's say, bicycle almost 7-8 months a year. But for the hotel in the main city, there is no limit.
Okay. I mean, is there a market outside of tourists? I mean, is this something people might be using to go to work or go to university or something like that?
Let's say that that kind of service is more suitable for sharing bike. Sharing bike,
Okay,
we mean you take the bike and you leave the bike wherever you want. This is not our business model
okay.
because you pay by hour, and if you take your bike to go to work and you come back 8 hours later,
Mhm.
it doesn't work.
Okay,
It is not work.
okay. So this is very much focused on the tourists coming to Italy.
Yep, yep, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, in terms of any other support for the company or its production, I know in Suzhou, where you used to live, where I live, the government was sometimes supportive of new manufacturing initiatives. I guess European countries sometimes may have um, subsidies to help new startups. Was there any sort of other government or third party support for this, or is it 100% privately funded?
Actually, no, as mentioned before, as even more than what can happen in China, for instance, where Social Green Mobility has opened its own Chinese branch, which is named Suzhou IBLU Industrial Design. So we have also a company based in Suzhou. But actually, in Italy, as I mentioned before, there is this kind of institution, which name is Invitalia, which is in charge to support uh, innovative startups, which must be reliable, credible, but they can give you money. Of course, it's not an equity, so you have to return back after some years, but it's a kind of important support.
Okay,
Yeah.
very interesting. Very
By
interesting.
the other side, in China, it's much easier to a very small company like our branch in China is because VAT is just 1%, corporate income tax is 2.5%. So it looks like ridiculous, but it works because it's improving. It's, let's say, for sure, encouraging the initiative of the young entrepreneur.
Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I've been here almost 10 years now. I forgot what European VAT rates were like. Okay,
Better not to mention it.
let's go on to the third section and talk about the industry. Now, my first question for you is, what industry category, I know perhaps it straddles a few, but what industry category does social green mobility fall into? Is it sort of an electric vehicle, an e-bike, a technology? What sort of, how do you categorize it?
If I have to categorize it, it's a service company because we do not sell products.
Okay.
We have actually, we have in our business plan uh, a minority foreseeing the possibility to sell bicycle, but mainly to give our service center something more to do. Because the service center, according the Bikey project, because social green mobility has two branches. One is Bikey, which is the business I just described it right now. The other one is Loca XY, which is a service providing tracking through GPS. Let's say that both the business are let's say handled by the service center, which as at least the ones we are talking right now, they would like to have some bicycle to sell by themselves. So our secondary business is to import parts, to assemble bicycle, and to sell them. But this is, let's say, it's not our business core.
Okay.
Our business core is to provide services
Okay. Now, I know from what you,
through IoT, through added value technology, because the APP belongs to us, the website and the IoT and whatever it is. But finally, we provide services. We do not provide products.
okay. So
In fact,
in your first stage of
please.
commercialization, will the focus be strictly on Italy, or are you looking at any other geographic areas as well?
We are going to start with Italy, but since, for instance, Côte d'Azur is quite close to Italy, we will also expand our business to the close France, because in my region is at the border with France, and we have friends there, so we can also expand our business in that area. Of course, we are not thinking to expand in France or Germany, whatever, not by now actually, because we focus on tourists, and tourism is quite well developed in Italy, south of France, and in future wherever it was, but no limitation actually. We had already just we got some requests from Thailand, where we have some friends managing a resort or, let's say, touristic area. They would like to have this bicycle to provide the service to their customer. The advantage of the host is that they don't have to pay anything. They just have to give us a small area where to place the bicycle and the charging station and finish. They just have to provide some electricity to recharge the battery, but no investment are required.
Okay.
So it's quite interesting because actually they can provide an added value service to their customer with a good bicycle, designed to be strong and reliable, without paying anything finally.
Okay.
So no investment is required.
I mean,
in the sense we are a typical service company.
when you've been talking about customers so far, I think you've almost exclusively mentioned hotels. I mean, are they sort of the prime customer, or are there other different types of customer segments?
Actually, if I mention customer as hotel, I made a mistake, because actually the hotel is a kind of partner of the blockchain. The only one customer is the one who is renting the bicycle in the hotel, in the resort, in the camping, in the marinas, wherever he wants. But this is the customer. All the other partners are, let's say, supplier, if you want, not customers. Of course, we have bed and breakfast. We have marinas, we have the small port, the big port. Wherever people is coming, there might be the need of a bicycle.
Okay, so any entity that has contact with tourists is basically...
Yes. Also, for instance, some small cities, some small village which do not have the intention to invest in sharing bicycle or something like that, they might be our customers, but basically, we do not manage sharing bicycle. We rent bicycle which has to be returned to the starting point.
Okay. Who, if any, are your direct competitors in Italy, or is there a direct competitor established yet? And I don't include bike sharing as a competitor to you.
Yeah, excluding bike sharing, in Italy we have no competitors. There are many actually, typical bike shop, who are going to rent the bike, but it's not, let's say, it's not an organized business. Through our app, wherever you go in Italy, you will be able to find a bikey shop and a bikey post where you can rent our bike. So it means that you don't have to load your bicycle on your car. You just go there and you will find the bicycle. You can book it, you can pay it, and you will be sure that the bicycle is there. Actually, nowadays, according to our business model, we have no competitors in Italy. Mm-hmm. There are some other similar organization, but not that like that one in the north of Europe. But the business scope is slightly different.
Okay. Does a tourist...
It looks more like the sharing bike.
Does a tourist need to have any sort of license to rent these bikes,
No.
or is it just like a pedal bike?
This is a good point, because before you mentioned the scooter, many friends and investors ask, why no scooter? Because the scooter in Italy and in Europe are quite, let's say, not easy to be managed, because you need the driving license, for instance, to drive a scooter. Instead, we want to have our goal is to rent our bike to a family. Uh, and of course, the young guys cannot have the driving license, and in any case, we do not want to put any limitation to our customers. So bicycle is electric bicycle, respecting the European rules, is the most suitable and easy way to take a ride and enjoy your tool.
Uh,
A scooter is quite complicated. You need a helmet, you need a driving license, insurance. It's totally another world. If it's clear to you when you rent a car how many paper you have to fill because driving license, this, that, so it's much more difficult, let's say.
I think
So we want to be easy.
you found a unique arbitrage because in terms of the simple utility provided to the rider, if you're riding an electric bike or electric scooter, they're delivering the same service. But of course, by going the bike route,
Yep.
you avoid all the regulation and the hassles. So that's actually quite
Yep.
ingenious way to make it much more widely available. Interesting.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely so. It's not like in China where you can ride the electric bicycle and the electric scooter in the same way with the same rules.
Yeah.
Now, in Italy, in Europe, the scooter is a motorbike, it's a motorcycle, so it's completely different, let's say, rule environment.
What do you see the main challenges in launching this business in Italy?
But nowadays, the main challenge is the tourism has been, let's say, stopped. So we have to take advantage about these two strange years, 2020, which has already been quite demanding, and 2021 also not so easy to manage it. So we will use this time to test. Once everything is running, we will be sure that there will be not so many challenge. Uh, Bicycle is a bicycle, even though it's a very good bicycle. In any case, it's not a rocket, it's not a space shuttle. It's a quite easy and easy way to move. Uh, Once the platform, the web platform, the app are working, they are working for 100 bicycle as well for 1 million bicycles. So it's a typical capital consuming company where we need a lot of money to install, to assemble and install as many as possible bicycle around Italy and not only. So the only one challenge is to raise the fund we need to increase dramatically the quantity of bicycle installed, because to be credible, you have to give the possibility to anyone to rent the bike wherever he wants.
So do you see yourself going through a round of fundraising, maybe with a venture capital firm this year? Is that on the schedule?
Actually, venture capital, not yet, but might be later. But by now, we need ambassadors. Now, the way we move through the early bird investors, because we do believe that a small investor is someone who believes in the project.
Yeah.
And also the second step is through crowdfunding, which is not targeting venture capital. It's targeting common people who are interested to invest their money, not that much, but in the same time they invest their money and they become ambassadors because they will spread the voice. So instead, the venture capital, they maybe can put a lot of money, but then no one will push.
Mm.
In our case, any partner, smaller or bigger, whatever it is, will be also an ambassador and a pusher of the service.
Okay. So you've already covered the next point I had about the impact of COVID-19, so we can skip over that point. So that takes us to the last point about the industry. And where do you see social green mobility in 3 years' time?
Actually, our business plan foresees to install around 5,000 bicycles in 5 years. So we plan to reach this number, considering that the lifetime of one bicycle we consider 2 years. After 2 years, we will replace the bicycle because In any case, we have to consider the bicycle will stay outdoor and outside, so it will be subject. So there is a kind of replacement need. In 3 years, we do hope to reach at least 2,000, 2,500, maybe 3,000 bicycles installed in Italy, to be reasonable and pragmatic. Of course, when we launch, if we will get the support of the Italian institution like in Italian, it will be a big help, because the more money we have, the more bicycle we can import, or the more components we can import and then distribute. The business is, as I mentioned before, is for free. I mean, the host does not have to pay anything to get the bicycle. It's just cash in, so there is no cash out. So it's very interesting, and we have already got a lot of interest from many hotels, many marinas, because they would like to give this service, because actually when something is for free and can give you money, it's
good deal.
It's interesting at all. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, that's really fascinating, and it's a very unique approach you've got, particularly this regulatory arbitrage with electric bikes. So I'm quite impressed at that. So let's go on to the fourth and final segment, and this is something that you've emphasized is a unique aspect of SME businesses, certainly in the northern half of Italy, and you use the term network enterprise. So describe
Yes.
this business model, and how does social green mobility fit into it?
Yeah, actually, the network enterprise is a kind of enterprise where many partners are working together to achieve the same goal. And it makes everything easier, because every part is interested to make it to run it smoothly and in a reliable way. So we cannot afford to have a bad service center. We cannot afford to have not considerate host, but the network enterprise is based on many players and one target. The target is to provide a good service to the tourist. All the chain, all the network is pursuing that target. And all the network is making money according to success, according to profit, according to revenue of the company itself. Because finally we have only one customer. Let's think about a very easy example. Social green mobility, one service center, one host, and one customer. The customer will pay all the sales, all the network, all the three partners. And the price we are going to propose to the customer, the tourist, are really market price, even a little bit lower than the current market price. Of course, we have a market research, scouting all the price and interviewing many bike shops who are currently renting their bike, and then we are going to propose an affordable service to the tourist.
It sounds like
that way we have. Please.
It sounds like there will be quite a large effort reaching out, contacting all these points of tourist contact, hotels, marinas, museums, etc., etc. Now, you're four people in the company. Are you doing it all yourself? Are you hiring students to do research? How are you approaching this very large number of potential partners?
Of course, the SGM is going to recruit one business development structure, because the key point is to develop the market. Anyway, in our business model, any player already in the network can become a business developer. In sense, if a service partner can introduce one or more hosts, he will get a commission. So it's and in the same example, if a hotel is introducing a camping or an Airbnb or bed and breakfast or whatever it is, who wants our bikes, will get a commission. So the network will not be developed only by our business development manager, which is going to be recruited in Milan, but also by the network itself.
Mm-hmm.
So the network has any interested to develop the network because they get paid.
Okay, very interesting. It's I can see the benefits of network enterprise, but I guess as for your business, you've still always got to play some sort of central oversight and monitoring to the network because at the
Hmm.
end of the day,
Yeah,
it's your
of course.
responsibility to manage the business. So that's
Yeah,
a very
definitely.
interesting
Yes, yes, yes.
way forward.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Okay, so
Definitely, it is right as you said.
those come to the end of my bulleted points, and I always close off by saying, is there anything else you'd like to mention or talk about that would be interesting for the viewers that I didn't think to ask you?
Well, actually, no, no, definitely no. I guess we already gave an overview quite complete about the company and the goals we are focusing on. So I guess it's okay.
Okay.
I hope there will be soon the possibility to install our bike and then let the viewers try our services.
I'm looking forward for when international travel freely returns from between China and the Europe, so I can come back and maybe on the way back from the UK, if it's September, October, I can come in and we can take a bike ride together. Let's keep
Ah,
our fingers crossed.
you can become a partner. Eh?
Okay, good stuff. Well, thank you for your time, Ricardo. That's very interesting. It'll be really interesting to see, when things return to normal. It sounds like a very promising business, and wish you the best of the luck in the future. So, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, John.
One, two.